everyone, Mari Graceberg here, host of the Teach and Profit Summit, and today here with me is Shayna Oliveira. She has really interesting story that we're going to be digging deeper into, and on how she's taken her expertise teaching English as a second language and transforming this or teaching them through online courses. I'm really fascinated with this platform and the expert that she has, because I am sure a lot of us can do this, but like what she said, there is an art and a science to doing this, and we're going to be digging deep into that one. But first off, Shayna, welcome to the stage.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
I am really glad to have you here, and I'm sure our audience are as well. So let's start with you sharing us how you got started that led you to creating this online courses teaching English as a second language. I'm sure our audience will love to hear that from you.
All right. Yeah. Well, I was already a teacher offline. I was teaching English in Brazil in classrooms and also in private lessons. And I loved the teaching, but I was underpaid. I couldn't get enough hours, and the adding up all the hours of grading and commuting, it ended up driving the salary way down. And I realized that there was also nowhere to advance to. It seemed really unsustainable for the kind of lifestyle I wanted to live. And what sparked the idea for my online business was that a lot of my students had trouble getting to class. So they would get caught in traffic jams, or they would have family commitments, and it was impacting their learning because they would only be in class maybe half or 2/3 of the time, and they couldn't make as much progress as they wanted. And so a couple of my students came to me and said, Shayna, we really want to learn English, but we're really swamped. Can you send your lessons by email and I'll just study them over my lunch break? And I said, well, yeah, I can do that. And so as I was sending them the lessons by email, I figured, well, I might as well post these online so other students can benefit from them as well. And so that was really the genesis of Espresso English, which is my online business.
So it really was born from a need from your students asking for it, and that's the beauty of it. Because if you have a problem that people are asking you about, that that gives you an idea. That's a great idea, because you know that people want it. You know that people want the solution that they're asking you from. Brilliant idea. That was a great tip in terms of creating or getting or coming up with an idea for an online course, for example. So you were teaching in Brazil?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Wow. So you were teaching English in Brazil for students there, so they can learn the English as a second language. And now you are teaching people from all over the world.
Yeah, now my classroom is over 100,000 people from all over the place. A lot of Brazilians, a lot of people from Asia, a lot of immigrants to the U.S. Actually, I have a big portion of people who have immigrated or they are spouses of Americans, and they are really highly motivated to learn English. So my lessons aren't specific to any one language group, but they're all geared to people who are interested in improving their English but maybe don't have a ton of time to study. So I try to make the lessons short and sweet.
I love experts like you who makes life a lot easier for us, because I'm an immigrant too, and English is not my native language. As you can tell, I'm from the Philippines. I grew up there, went to school there, migrated to the United States, and English really is still something I want to learn, get better with. So I will be one of your students now at
all right.
Espresso. Love it. That's the beauty of technology nowadays, because we really can facilitate our learning through online education. And I think we're moving in that direction. Actually, there's more and more people doing that, going to that platform because of its availability, convenience, and technology nowadays is able to afford us that. So why not?
Yeah, it's convenient for my students because it means that they can take the lessons anytime, whatever fits with their schedules. And of course, it's convenient for me because now I control my own schedule and I don't have to worry about scheduling classes or cancellations or any of that stuff. And so it works really well for both sides.
Absolutely. Okay, so this summit is all about teaching and profiting from what you know, from what your expertise. So let's dissect this part. I'm sure that we have audience or people are watching right now who want to translate their expertise into an online program or into an online course so that they can reach a wider audience. But maybe they feel overwhelmed, and just the mere thought of creating an online course. So
Mhm.
let's dissect this part first, the creation part, and then we move to the promotion part, and of course the probably our favorite ones is how to continue profiting from it once you have them out there. So first, let's go to the creation phase. So how did you get? Because I truly believe that teaching, and you have a big advantage there as a teacher, and I admire you teachers for doing this because you have this art and skill to synthesize things that I'm a nurse by profession, and all I know is nursing up until I changed into doing this. But in terms of creating this, I know you have a system. I'm sure you have a system, because that's the beauty of teaching something, because you have a system that you have created. So walk us through how you come up with the system that you're teaching people about this on English. So that I just want people to see, okay, I have this idea, I just don't know how to package it. So walk us through how you package this expertise that you have.
Okay, yeah. Well, you mentioned, first of all, audience. So the first step, even before creating the course, was to build my audience. And I did that through blogging. A lot of people are doing it nowadays on YouTube, a lot of teachers through video. So the first thing you need is you need that group of, I'll call them potential students. So you can often get those by putting out some free content, tips, tricks. You can spread the word if you're already a teacher among your own offline students, among other colleagues you have. Teachers encourage your students to tell their friends about your website or blog or YouTube channel. So that was the first phase. That is part of product creation, because in order to be able to sell a course, you need to have people to sell it to. And so that was the first 6 to 9 months of my business. And then once I had a little bit of a following, I had a number of people who were following my free lessons, and they said they enjoyed them. And I decided to make a course. And I picked a small area of English, namely travel English. When you're teaching something, you don't want to make a course that teaches everything there is to know about the entire topic, because that's going to be super difficult for you to create, not to mention overwhelming for your students. So I just said, okay, I'm going to do a travel English course. I'm going to walk you through the airport and how to check into a hotel and how to go sightseeing. It's going to be 30 days long, and I will produce one lesson a day for 30 days. And I put up a sales page with a button for people to buy. I had not yet created the course. I was promising to deliver the course over the next 30 days, but I asked people to pre-register and to buy it. And I put that out to my audience, and a handful of people took me up on it. About 18 people registered, and then I had to produce it. So then over the next 30 days, I really worked hard, and every day I would have my topic, like getting through the airport, and I would do my research. I'd put together the class, and I would email it out to the students who had paid for it. I just did text and audio. So I sent them a PDF file, and I voiced it over with my own voice. And that was it. It was really simple. But I'm so glad that I pre-sold it, because that way it was like I already had 18 students in my classroom. And so it was easy to create the lessons because I knew that people were waiting for them. And I ended up using that same system over and over and over again for multiple other courses, from business English to vocabulary. And so it was a nice way to do it, to actually sell it first and then create it and send it to the people who had bought it.
Oh my God, that's a brilliant strategy. I hope you all were jotting down, because that is a great strategy that Shayna just shared with us. You know, the proof of concept by pre-selling it first and then creating it, because now you know that people are willing to pay for it, are willing to invest with their own money. And that is, I believe, should be the way to creating online courses or programs, because you don't have to spend the whole time creating this and then put it out there, crickets, you know. And with technology we have nowadays, it's so easy to get this one tested right away. So I love that strategy. That is what I do myself, and awesome. That's what I have learned a lot from people who are teaching this, you included. So I love that concept, and we should all be creating our courses with that in mind, pre-selling them first, because you get two things. you not only have a proof of concept that people are willing to buy or vote with their wallet, but at the same time, you now have money to build the infrastructure of this and get it better every time. So in terms of pricing, so what were your, because a lot of people are asking about this pricing strategy. What's the standard? What's the norm? Should I, things like that. How did you come up with the price?
Well, I didn't worry about it too much. I picked $30 for that first course, and I picked it because I knew it is on the low side, but I knew it was going to be affordable for my students in Brazil. So I knew about, the average salary in Brazil and what people would normally be investing in a course.
Mm-hmm.
So it was low enough to be affordable and yet high enough that I figured, okay, if I don't need, 10,000 students to make a good living. I could have a fairly small group and still feel like this is worth my time to create. So I honestly just picked it out of a hat. It sounded good. It felt good. And that's most of my courses are now still in that $30 to $45 range. And they've been successful in selling in multiple places. So one tip I would give is that you can always change your price later. So it's not like you pick one price and then you're locked into that forever. I see people raise prices all the time. I see people break up their course and lower the price a bit. So I would say the first thing is to get it out there. The best way to test a price is to ask people to buy it, right? Ask them to vote with their wallets. And then you can adjust up and down from there as needed.
Exactly. And I love your strategy about knowing your audience, because you knew that, okay, this is affordable for people that I'm targeting. This is not gonna break their wallet, or, they're not gonna have to take money from the table to afford this.
Mm-hmm.
So that it feels good, it feels right. Your audience, it feels good to it feels right to your target audience. That's a good thing to remember too. Your audience, you always have that one in mind. All right, so we got the creation part. So first off, you have an idea, you build your platform first. Your audience, that is so important, and so many platforms nowadays. You can do blogging if you love writing. You can do podcasting if you love to talk. You can do online summits, for example, like what I do. You could do videos, especially nowadays with online streaming. Oh, I love technology. There has been no better time than now with technology we have nowadays. So build a platform first. You listen to your audience, find out what their pain points are, what their problems are, and how you can solve them, tying into your expertise. So for example, with Shayna, she teaches English as a second language, and that is her expertise, and her students wanted help in this area. So, and then the next part will be to pre-sell this course first. So put it out there for proof of concept, just put a price on it, and then create a course as you deliver it. So you pre-sell them first and then create as you deliver. So for example, with Shayna, she does it on the first one was 30 days. So a PDF and an audio version of it, that's it, emailed every day. Very doable for a lot of us, or for all of us. No excuses there. All right, so we got the creation part. Now we move on to the promotional part. So I know, especially in the internet marketing world, promotion, or I think it's in every niche, promotion or getting the word out there is important. I know you mentioned first you build the audience, but what are some of the other ways, especially in your succeeding courses? Because I'm sure you have a lot of courses right after that. What were some of the ways that you promoted and you continue to promote your programs and online courses so you can reach a wider areas of or range of people?
Well, honestly, I just kept doing it through content marketing. So there are a lot of different ways to promote your course. One of the best ones is to partner up with other people. I didn't do any of that. I don't know whether it was just I'm very focused on my own business or what, but I saw that content marketing was working for me and my audience was continuing to grow. So I just kept doing that. I've kept blogging and kept YouTubing, and steadily my number of followers has grown. And so with that, each successive course launch has gotten bigger and bigger because now there are more people following me. The one strategy I do use every time I launch something new is I always try to make it a bit of an event and generate a bit of excitement. So I will always have some sort of special launch window. My courses are actually open year round, but when something is new, it's special and I want people to get excited about it and join. So I will often have maybe an early bird price, which is a little bit lower if they join by a certain time, or I've done bonuses too if they join during a certain month, or I've done some special content like maybe some special live presentations or something that they help generate excitement for the launch. And so that's a strategy that it never fails to just increase the sales and generate a lot of excitement, and students are happy to sign up and they often share the materials. And so that's one thing that I think I've gotten better at. My first course launch was very tentative. I just kind of put the sales page out there and wrote, I think, 1 or 2 emails. I was very shy about promoting it. And nowadays I do a lot more when it comes to launches in terms of special content and really encouraging people to sign up, sending them free samples. That's also part of it. And I've seen increasing success as I go.
I love it. So launch style, and of course continuing the platform that it's working for you, because there are so many platforms out there. But for example, with you, content marketing, blogging per se, and YouTube was the one working for you, and that's the beauty of now, because you don't have to be in all of these platforms, and that would be so exhausting, and you can't dominate all of those. You pick 1 or 2 to dominate and really focus on that one, the platforms where your audience are hanging out. And the launch style, I love that you mentioned that, because there's nothing that generates excitement as a launch style. I know we've heard a lot of this, like the Jeff Walker's product launch formula, but it works. It really works. Look at Apple. That's how to generate excitement. They create a buzz around a new product is coming up. Same thing with your program. And see, even in the language career niche that Shayna is, product launch style works like a charm. So, use that style of launch of introducing your course or program, even though if it's an evergreen, create a window, because that's what makes people, take action, because they know there's a very limited window to get it, or to get the bonuses, or to get the good stuff that are included in it. I love it.
Yep.
All right. Okay. So we got the promotion part. Now we go to the how to monitor, how to continue profiting from this, because one of the things that I really love about online courses and programs is that once you've created it, you now have a real estate. I call it real estate online.
Yes.
You put in the effort one time, bulk of it, you already done. It's just about tweaking and putting out there to more and more people afterwards. But bulk of the work is already done. So now we have something that we can continue to profit over and over and over again. And that is exciting for online courses and online course creators. So share with us some of the ways that you continue profiting from this online courses that you continue to create as well.
Sure. Well, so that first course was Travel English. It was a small group of students, but I enjoyed the process of creating those lessons and sending them out. And so I didn't want to stop there with Travel English, so I took a month off because it was a very intense month of course creation. And then I decided to do another course. And this time I actually surveyed my audience. I gave them 3 options. I said, do you guys want business English? Do you want idiomatic expressions, or do you want phrasal verbs? And they voted for business English. And so that was the next course I created. And I did that multiple times. And so now I've got about 12 or 13 different courses. And so now this is what it looks like. From that very first course, I had just 18 people in there, about the size of a classroom. Nowadays, people discover me all the time through my content, whether that's my YouTube channel or my blog. They come to my site, if they like it, they sign up to my email list, and then they have the opportunity all year round to join one of my 12 courses, which cover all the different aspects of the English language. And so now sales are coming in all year round. And sometimes I still do come out with new things, or I do special launches. Recently, I've been revising some of my courses. For example, I took one of them, which was a listening course, and I wanted to improve it. So I got other voices, other voiceover artists to participate so that people could practice listening to lots of different accents and lots of male and female and all sorts of different voices. And so I improved the course and relaunched it as the new and improved course. And so, like you said, the bulk of the work was already done, and then I was just making it a little bit better based on some student feedback, because they had told me, I really enjoyed the course, but it's only you talking. I understand you already. And so I was able to make that change and relaunch it. So now it's just kind of a continuous stream of new students all year round, with still some special events throughout the year. And now I'm really focusing on innovating a little bit in the way I do my content marketing. So now that the courses are kind of selling on autopilot, I can experiment with things like doing live videos. I did a month where I just answered a different question on camera every day. And so there are all sorts of interesting things I can try now that the courses are kind of selling on their own. So that's what it looks like today.
Beautiful. See, now we've created something that is now creating passive income for us, because now we have done the work. It's just a little bit of tweaking now and then and innovating. I love the word what you're doing about innovating, like getting other speakers' voice in it. Because if we, I learned this one from a great philosopher, and he said that if we don't innovate, we cannot compete. So you have to innovate. And one way of doing that with you is that you get all of these other voices to, and I can see that because I am from Asia, and my accent will never be like a native English speaker, but I'd love to learn how to pronounce certain words, for example, by different, people, for example, or, that's a brilliant idea. So innovation is important. And now, so you started from one course to several courses now, 13 courses or more. And now it's generating income for you on autopilot. Now you can focus on other things like innovating this, or creating even more programs or courses, or doing other platforms like what you said about video blogging. But the beauty of this one is that having courses that you have created, you now have several ways to profit from it. You have this on autopilot. You can also offer them launches, for example, and evergreen, and repurposing them as well in different formats. That's also a way to create several streams of income. Wow, I love that, because I just want people to at least envision, or at least picture in themselves that, wow, this is a possibility. This is the opportunity that's waiting for you. Once you've created that course, start with one, because look at what she has done. She has multiple courses now that's generating income from her month after month after month, just putting in the effort in the beginning and just tweaking afterwards. It's so well worth it. Right? Yes.
Absolutely is. And keep in mind that, this is a long-term process, right? So I've been in business for about 5 years. So I didn't do this I didn't come up with 13 courses overnight. This was just a constant process of, I would do a month, I would do a course, take a month off, recover, come up with an idea for another course. And it was just over time, it builds up, right? And there's a lot more even that you can do with courses. You can put them on other platforms like Udemy, or you can turn them into books for Kindle on Amazon, because the stuff is already written. You can use your courses to get you speaking gigs. This is just right off the top of my head here, there are all sorts of ways to repurpose that content and profit from it. You can also do partner sales. Like I've participated in a collaborative sale where it's a bunch of English teachers and we all contribute a product, and then we do this huge like Black Friday sale and we all promote it to our audiences, and it's really fun. So there's all sorts of ways after the course is created. Don't think of it as just, okay, you made it, maybe 10 people signed up. I don't know if that was so great, but it's going to grow over time and you can use it in all sorts of different ways. So I know sometimes it can be discouraging if the numbers are small at the beginning, and I certainly felt that way, but I'm glad I didn't give up because it has definitely paid off over the years.
Absolutely. And 5 years, wow, that is, that's not long either. I mean, if you think of the length of time entrepreneurs from the time that they get started to the time they make their first sale, for example, it takes years. So this is really, really inspiring that you share this one, because I mean, kudos to you. I mean, look at where you are right now. I mean, today, because you didn't quit, you pushed through it. You were consistent with it. You were not discouraged at all. You kept through it. You showed up every day. Mm-hmm. So to even inspire our audience, because I know our audience are listening and they have expertise that they know can help people. Maybe they just need a little nudge from you and I to get them to get started today. Mm-hmm. Let's share with them. Let's let them see the possibility. So compare your results. So when you first released the first course, you got 80 students back then. Compared to today, how many students are you serving now? And in terms of revenue, just for our audience to see, wow, this is something I want to go for. If Shayna can do it, I can do that too. This will make a big difference in our lives, in my life, if I'm able to do what, at least model of what Shayna is doing.
Sure. So that first course, 18 people, that was not enough to support me at the time. I was living in Brazil, so cost of living was lower, but it was enough for me to think, okay, if I can get 18, I can probably get 20, I can probably get 30, 40, 50. Nowadays, it's a couple of hundred students per month. And so that adds up to a 6-figure income for my husband and I. And in fact, we were able to go and spend 6 months in London, which, I mean, I figure if my business can support us in London, we can pretty much live anywhere. So that was, again, from kind of barely scraping by in Brazil to being able to travel and live in one of the most expensive cities in the world. It was my business that got us to that point. So it absolutely grew over time in ways that surprised even me. And so that is where you could go if you start on this journey of online teaching and you just keep going with it and keep seeking out more students and honing your craft, getting better at the marketing and providing something that people want. You can get there as well. I've known people who've done it faster. I'm more of a slow and steady wins the race kind of person, but it's absolutely worth it.
I am so inspired. I got goosebumps with that. I hope you listening are inspired by it, because I certainly am. Look at that. I mean, if that didn't inspire you, I don't know what can inspire you. Shayna just shared with us the possibility, the opportunity that's waiting for you. Behind that, that tunnel. I believe in that. There's something great in there on the other side, as long as you continue. So, wow, congratulations. I mean, from 18 students to a 6-figure income, and now living wherever you want to live. This business of course creation and teaching what you know really affords you the kind of lifestyle that that you cannot do with in other areas. For example, if you keep a 9-to-5 job, because that's what happened to me too. It wasn't giving me the flexibility that I need, so I can be with my husband wherever he is.
Right.
But having an online business, teaching what I know, I had to learn a skill because I only knew how to do nursing. So I had to learn a skill. But once I learn some skill, I'm able to teach other people how to do that as well.
Right.
And it's so, I wouldn't trade it for anything else. So I hope that was
Oh,
that
me neither.
inspired you. Yeah, really inspired you to look into your expertise and find a way, follow the model that Shane just shared with us, from creation to promotion and how to profit or make over and over again. Use this model and start jetting out, start brainstorming, because I know you have something of value that other people will want. People are waiting for your solution that only you can provide. And even though you think that it's hard, it's not that hard. Look at Shayna, look at me, look at other people, thousands of people out there who are benefiting from creating an online course. I truly believe that courses really change the world. And education, we're moving in the education economy wherein people will need need more of you, more of your help, more of your support in succeeding in life and in business and in whatever they want to achieve in life. So there's a lot of space. There's a space for you, for everyone in the online.
Yes, there is.
In the world, per se, we have like 7 billion people coming into the online world in the next few years. So there's a piece for everyone. So I love that. And so we've given them everything that they need to know. We've given them a structure. You've given them great strategies. And you mentioned earlier before we got started that there's a lot of teachers out there, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners are listening who are, whether they are teachers in the school, for example, in curriculum, or in the online world, for example, in the marketing or business world. We can all learn from this. So you mentioned earlier about, okay, it's one way to be able to teach as a teacher, but to deal with the business side of this one, that's another part of the story. So before I forget, I really want you to touch on that one, because I'm sure that's a great area that we should discuss too, because that's important, because building a business really has the business side of it. And for most of the time, we don't like to do that because that's not creative. That's not the creative part of us, but it has to get done. So talk us about the business side of the business, in terms of being a teacher teaching an online course.
Yeah, I think a lot of teachers, from what I've seen, they have no problem teaching, but they have trouble with marketing, promoting. They feel they don't want to, I struggle with this. I didn't want to be all salesy. I didn't know how to make people want to buy my course. And I didn't, I don't have a saleswoman personality. I'm a teacher, I'm an educator. And what really helped me get over that was thinking about selling as extending an invitation. So when I put out my free lessons, I consider that as like a gift. I'm holding out a gift and I'm saying, here's something free, of value. Would you like to take it? And of course, a lot of students, they love free stuff, who wouldn't? And there's nothing offensive in offering a gift. You're not being salesy or promotion-y or annoying. You're just offering something of value for free. And then when you get into selling, it's really holding open the door to your classroom and extending an invitation. Hey, do you want to learn more? If so, come on in. And yes, they have to pay for the course, but you're not imposing on them. You are inviting them into a deeper relationship with you as, teacher and student, and you're of course going to provide lots more value inside that paid course. And so once I kind of made that mental switch that it's not about sending them a zillion sales pitches, it's not about using really annoying language or tactics or anything, which you might see in the internet marketing world and you might not be comfortable with. It's really about inviting people. And so that's kind of the approach I always take. That's why I'm generous with my free stuff, and I always give free samples, and I say, hey, if you want more, if you're you want to go further, go deeper, the way to do that is to join my course. And I've gotten a really good reaction from that. It feels good to me, and I think it feels good for my students too. And so I would encourage any teacher who's struggling with how to promote themselves, or it seems really odd, really awkward, to think of it in that way as extending an invitation. And I think it will make it easier for you to promote yourself, to sell your courses, and to do all the marketing that's essential, right? Because if you have a course and no one knows about it, no one can take it. And so the promotion is part of the job as an online business owner.
I love it. And I love how you phrase selling. Selling is extending invitation to go deeper with you, to deepen the relationship, to
Yes.
provide even more value. Wow.
Yes.
What a change in perspective and what a change in how you feel about selling just by rereading or re-saying those phrases that Shane just shared with us. I felt that one too. Wow, what a shift. And I really, really want you to feel, to embrace that way, because if you're like me, I am scared of selling and marketing too when I got started, because I didn't understand it. I thought selling is bad or marketing is bad because we got this bad rap from other people. But once you understand, more about it, and you knew that you have something that people would benefit from, it's your more obligation to spread it wide to people. And I love how you say it, because it's just extending the invitation to them. Okay, I have this, I can give you, and you can get this for free, and if you want more of this, I can go deeper with you. Wow, I love it. That's how we should look at marketing or selling.
For sure. Yep.
All right, so let's talk about your hat selling program or course. I know you have gazillions of courses there now, but what has been your hottest selling program so far to this day?
Sure. It's been one called Everyday English Speaking, and that's in direct response to my students' biggest need. So one of the things I asked my students when they sign up for my email list is they get an email that welcomes them and also asks what their biggest struggle is in learning English. And I would pay attention to the responses, but one day I noticed that a lot of people were saying that they had problems with speaking, whether that's pronunciation or whether it's just knowing the right words to say or whether it's the confidence, right? Speaking involves all of this. And I realized, oh, gee, I don't have a course specifically on speaking. And so I made one that really takes people through those everyday situations. So going to the supermarket, if you have to see a doctor, socializing, apologizing, criticizing. How can you do these things are essential? And so the course is just called Everyday English Speaking, and it's far and away my most popular course. And that really reflects the fact that it was my students' biggest need, was to learn phrases for speaking. And so interestingly, I didn't think about creating a speaking course until a few courses in. I had already made travel, I'd already made business, I already made idioms, but I realized, wait a minute, the biggest pain point is one that I don't have a course to meet that need yet. And then when I finally did, it was really, really popular and continues to be to this day. So I guess that's another takeaway, is to really identify the biggest problems, because sometimes we get wrapped up in what we want to teach, but we have to pay attention to what the students want to learn. And they'll tell you if you ask them.
That's so huge. I'm laughing here because I admit I'm part of that one too. I felt like, oh, I'm get so excited with this one without realizing, oh, does my students want this one, or is this one of their pain points? So I love your strategy about keeping on asking or getting feedback from your students on what they are struggling with, what problems they need help, what's their biggest pain point, because that's the only way you can innovate and really give them what they need. Brilliant strategy there again. Thank you for that. All right.
Sure.
So this is one question that I ask all our speakers so far, and I'm so curious as to what your answer would be, and I'm sure our audience are curious too. So what has been the biggest factor in your success as an online course creator?
I'd say persistence in experimenting and finding what works. So there are a lot of different approaches to online business, and it's what works is going to change from business to business, from person to person, from niche to niche. And so I just, like you said earlier, I just kept going. I mean, month after month after month, I would try new strategies. If it seemed to be working, I would keep going. If it didn't seem to be working, because I certainly tried some things that were dead ends, then I would drop it. And so I would just experiment month after month and just keep going. And eventually I found what worked for me.
All right. So persistence and experimenting, what works. I love it. I mean, if you could just get one thing today, I hope that's one of them: persistence and keep on experimenting what works, and be always your audience at the forefront of what you do, because you're there to provide solutions for them. Brilliant. Okay. So now that we've given them everything that they could possibly learn and they could possibly be inspired by, I'm sure now they're wondering, okay, where can I learn more about Shayna? Where can I get more of Shayna? So tell them where to go next.
Well, obviously, if you want to see what I'm doing in my main business, then head over to espressoenglish.net to see how I'm selling my courses and how I'm running the business. And then if you want to get like the behind the scenes and some of my thoughts on running an online business and entrepreneurship and business and life and all that, I'm podcasting over at entrepreneursinmotion.com. And the idea behind that is to talk to people who are already running an online business, even if it's just in the early days, but who have already taken some action, and I'm sharing just tips from that stage of business. If you've started but you don't feel like you've made it yet, I'm talking to you. And so a lot of stories from my experience, interviews with other entrepreneurs who are in that same phase of business, in the process of figuring it all out. So head over to the podcast and listen to it, Entrepreneurs in Motion.
All right, and I have the links down below this video as well. But if you want to learn English, espressoenglish.net, espressoenglish.net. See, mumbling my words now. I'm curious with the name. I mean, espresso, coffee, espresso. I love it.
I don't know. It just came to me one day. I mean, my lessons are, I guess, like short and strong, like an espresso. And I really like alliteration. You know, it's EE. And so it just sounded good. And so I went with it.
I love it. I love it. Because one of the hang-ups for us, I mean, me included, is naming our programs or naming our brand. So I was just curious. But that was perfect. I mean, you literally explain it as a short and strong, and that's how you're delivering. Brilliant. All right. So the podcast, Entrepreneurs in Motion, especially if you're a teacher and you want to learn about this stuff of the business, as an online course creator, head over to Entrepreneurs in Motions. And also, if you want to learn more about how to build your business in general, I'm sure we can all learn from it. I'm gonna head over to there myself. I'm a podcaster myself too, and I love bringing in people, learning about their stories, learning about their journeys, sharing their expertise. Because I know that if we can just learn from each other, we can go a long way. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. So Entrepreneurs in Motion for the podcast, and espresso.english.net. I will have those down below this video. All you have to do is to click on them and get you there. All right, Shayna, this has been awesome. I mean, you've over-delivered beyond my expectation. They've gotten so much value, and you're really such a giver. I love your energy. I'm sure our audience really enjoyed this. So thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your expertise with us. This is beyond great. I'm really grateful for this. So any parting words, and then we'll say goodbye.
Just to reinforcing that it's a marathon, not a sprint. So I know sometimes when looking at other case studies of other online businesses, sometimes you compare yourself to them and you don't have the same results, or somebody else, reached a really high number really fast. And don't do that. Okay. I made the mistake of doing that. Keep in mind that you're in this for the long haul, and that it will all pay off. It will all be worth it. And everyone goes at their own pace. So to just keep on going and be confident that you can figure it out and you can create a really great business that you're going to love.
Awesome, man. This is not a sprint, it's a marathon. I love that. Consistency is key. So there you go. All the great wisdom that Shayna just shared with us, keep them, embrace them, and let's go change the world by creating courses that changes people's lives. So I love it. Thank you, Shayna, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.